Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aulia Wijaya from class Introduction to Research Method T. Today I will share what I have learned in 3 months of course Introduction Research Method. These are classroom action research, research and development, research approach, and educational case study. So let's start with the first research method, that is classroom action research. So, classroom action research is an approach to educational research that is commonly used by educational practitioners and professionals to examine and ultimately improve their pedagogy and practice. Classroom action research is a way to improve teaching and learning. It involves taking action, evaluating results, and reflecting on what works. The goal is to gather evidence to make positive changes in practices. It often focuses on solving problems, leading to better methods, and classroom action research focuses on small settings and local problems in a class. The result is only functional for the object or class that was researched. And next, to help researchers understand the real conditions of teaching and learning, such as student behavior, teacher-student interaction, and challenges in the learning process, researchers can conduct preliminary study. In classroom action research, a preliminary study is a crucial initial step. It involves observing and identifying problems in the classroom to establish a baseline for the research. The preliminary study often includes activities like conducting observation to identify the issue, pre-test to assess students' current abilities, and collecting data on teaching methods and classroom dynamics. Then, after conduct the preliminary study, the following steps are planning, action, observation, reflection, and revision. In the planning steps, the researchers define the problem or focus area, and then they develop a strategy or intervention to address the issue. Then they decide on methods for data collection like observation, surveys, or tests. Then in second step, it is action or implementation. The researchers apply the planned intervention in the classroom. The researchers collect the data during the implementation phase to monitor the students' progress. And the next is observation. The researchers observe and document the outcomes of the intervention. They can use tools like teachers' diaries, peer observations, or student feedback to gather insights. And the next step is reflection. The researchers analyze the collected data to evaluate the effectiveness of the intervention. They can identify the success, the criteria of success, the challenges, and areas for improvement. Then the last step is revision and repetition. The researchers can modify the plan based on their reflections and their findings. Then they implement revised strategies in subsequent cycles for continuous improvement. The classroom action research method can be repeated if the criteria of success has not been reached yet. Then the second method is research and development. Research and development is a process at creating new knowledge, innovations, and improvements in products, processes, or services. It is widely used in industries, academia, and government organizations to solve practical problems. There are some models of R&D method. There are Board and Goal, AD, and 4D. The way of researchers choose the model of R&D research depends on the product. Product of R&D is educational product. It can be syllabus, book, or media. The first is the model by Board and Goal. This model is a systematic process used to develop and validate a product, like a curriculum or instructional material. Board and Goal model have 10 steps, including research and information collection, planning, developing, preliminary field testing, revising, main field testing, revising operational product, operational field testing, revising final product, and implementing. And the second model is AD. AD is an instructional design framework used to develop courses and training programs. The phases are analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. ADDIE. And the last model is 4D. The model 4D is used to develop learning tools. The stages are define, design, development, and disseminate. And the next is the steps of research and development method in general. The first is need analysis, design, develop, validate by expert, revise, try out, and then the next step is releasing the product. Researchers need to validate their product of research and development to the expert and revise it. Researchers need to conduct a tryout before releasing the final product. In need analysis, researchers can conduct observation, interview, survey, and etc. Then the fundamental difference between R&D and other methods is that the R&D method doesn't have research questions. It is called a statement of problem. It used to be that the product could eliminate the problem. Okay, the next thing that I have learned is research approach. There are three research approaches. These are qualitative, quantitative, and mixed method. The first is qualitative. Qualitative, like case study, ethnography, and narrative inquiry, they are focuses on quality and they have small number of participants. The selection process is conducted to decide the best participant by using purposive sampling or convenience sampling as the last option. In a qualitative approach, the researchers commonly considers as the main instrument, and the data of research qualitative can be generalizable. Okay, the next approach is quantitative, like survey and experiment correlative. The researchers focuses on the quantity of research and then they have large number of participants, no minimum number of participants but must be valid and reliable. Then the research using random sampling to decide the participants and the data of the research can be generalizable. Then the last approach of research is mixed method like classroom action research and research and development. The first is qualitative first, then followed by quantitative. It called as exploratory sequential design. The second is quantitative first and then followed by qualitative. It called as explanatory sequential design. If the qualitative first, it proved with data first. If quantitative first, it proved with theory first. And the last thing that I have learned in 3 months of this course is educational case study. A case study in education is a qualitative research method that involves an in-depth exploration of a specific subject, such as a person, group, event, or educational program within its real-world context. This approach allows researchers to gain a comprehensive understanding of complex phenomena that may not be captured through other research methods. Educational case study research have small number of participants, can be one person, two people, one class, one school, or one community. The selecting process can be conducted by using purposive sampling and convenient sampling for the last option. Filter is mandatory to do on purposive sampling. Filters are used to determine the best participant to use in the research, so the research will have trustworthiness or validity. To establish trustworthiness, the researchers can conduct triangulation. Triangulation has two types, method triangulation and data triangulation. Method triangulation using observation data checklist and questionnaire to check the accuracy of the data. Or if the research only uses interview instruments, member checking can be done to the participant to check the validity of the data provided by the participants. And then for the instruments used, the instrument that is commonly used is interviews. Other instruments that can be used depending on research needs include questionnaires, observation, and field notes. And last but not least, same as the other research method like classroom action research or research and development, the research etiquette is the researchers has to give consent form to the participants. Okay, I think that's all for my explanation about what I have learned for 3 months of this course. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.